take a look at our map bans to see where we'll be playing on in this matchup, or second to last one in our play.
And this is definitely going to have to go in Noble's favor, I think, for them to really have a good shot at this, because not only, have they been struggling, but this is against the top team at the moment, who's been showing up very, very well. Oregon off the board first, and of course, Clubhouse and Coastline are also off. We've seen a lot of Clubhouse auto-ban, but Border is not going to come up for the third time here, maybe in the next matchup, who knows, but after seeing 2 Border in a row, it will be refreshing to go somewhere else. Unfortunately, that somewhere else will not be Villa.
Bank? Oh, take SK Gaming to Bank.
That would be a bad idea.
Let's go.
Okay, so SK love Bank. They have played it 3 times this season. They only lost it to Cloud9, and Cloud9 have shown they have a really good Bank.
Yeah.
So that is not as surprising. So if I'm Noble right now, unless I'm like playing in some serious scrims where I'm like, whoa, we got Bank down, that seems like a misplay on the ban, because they have not played Bank. So yeah, that means they haven't shown anything, but SK, having succeeded on it 2 out of 3 times, shows that it's not just about showing something, it is about having really good knowledge of the map. Bank is such a good one for SK. I almost feel like this is, I had the community vote that's coming up here after.
Yeah, yikes. I would never say that, but still, SK Gaming have been a tough team to break on Bank for the past 2 years, and there you go. 80% here makes a lot of sense, especially with that Bank pick. You guys are pretty smart. They didn't even know what the map was.
Well, I mean, they just looked at the leaderboard. Oh, this guy's on top, this guy's on bottom.
Math.
Yeah. Either way, though, I said after the map ban especially, I would agree with those numbers. Maybe Noble just studied C9 strats. They're going to try and pull those out.
Yeah,
just mimic what they did.
You speak of C9's play, but I remember reviewing a few of the VODs there, especially their defense on the top floor at CEO. They kind of forget to reinforce certain things, and I talked to Goddess about this, and Lauren told me, yeah, so we didn't reinforce that well. We wanted to put the mirror to hold the hallway because Fox forgot to do it.
It's Fox for you. It's Fox.
That's
Either way, though, we'll see Fox next match. We'll see if he forgets to do things.
We'll see maybe Noble can actually execute these correctly, because there's no way around this. This is a tough game for Noble.
Yeah.
SK have every single advantage, and then you add a map that they are very famous for their tough plays on. Well, good luck, Noble, because it's going to need a bit more than, ladies and pawns distributing swords to give them that crown and take the win at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely looking like potential checkmate for Noble here. Either way, though, I got to imagine
you can hire us for parties, buddy. We do bar mitzvahs.
This would make for an awkward bar mitzvah, I tell you what. We'll commentate your coming of age. But either way, though, Noble are really going to have to work hard in this. They have to have something really up their sleeve. I mean, yes, they do have a lot of SK footage to watch. Yep. Not just this season, previous seasons as well.
Previous years.
Yeah, a lot they can study about the way the SK play it, but that's a lot of homework to do to feel confident enough to take them on this map. And that's really risky. I feel like that's the kind of move you pull out on LAN, not on Pro League days, not when you're doing this bad in the second half of the season.
Yeah, it seems like a very comfort. At this point, what can you do? Like, you had the advantage there at the end. You could have played them on Consulate, but SK is still pretty good on Consulate. I mean, right now with their position, they're kind of good wherever you take them, but you want to give yourself the advantage. So I would understand that Noble doing this means that they are more prepared to play on Bank than anything else. Yeah. Coincidentally, this happens to be one of SK's toughest maps.
Yeah. Also, I'm noticing as well that it is, in fact, actually ZZ playing in Heavy's place today. So, I mean, he hasn't had the best track record. Yeah. So that, again, is one more question mark, exclamation mark, a little Intero.
They call it an Intero ban.
Yeah, on that. So, I don't know, man. I mean, we just witnessed the 6-0. So we did witness probably the worst possible circumstances for a team. I feel like there's a chance we could see this be a 6-1 or 6-2 if Noble aren't just ready with the biggest surprise ever at this point.
Yeah, I think player to highlight on Noble is Acid, Mr. Tomas Adamczyk.
He's a clutch master.
He really has to play out of his mind in this matchup, because otherwise, again, all the advantages are in SK's way. Now, interesting stuff that SK do is play quite a bit of Capitao. Even for North America, Jarvis has been on the operator.
This is main,
fairly well.
Seems like, and it's worked fairly well as well. I mean, when you play that much of an operator that is a little quirky to play in some ways. You really get to know the ins and outs, and you start to get a lot more flexibility on that operator in terms of what you can and can't do. We see that with the Zofia players as well that have been playing it for a long time. You start to see just a lot more depth to the way that they play that operator. Whereas, you know, as opposed to something like Thermite, where there's not going to be a lot of expressive depth to the way that you play the operator, this has definitely been interesting to see the way that Jarvis has carried that forward, as well as, you know, we've seen it from some other teams, but I would say less consistently, like on Rogue, for example, than the way that Jarvis is just run it every single time.
Now, I wonder where the bans will go in terms of operators in here, because
they could just ban Capital on them, which would be interesting. I think that's happened once, if I remember right. Maybe not in Pro League, but maybe in somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Capital has been banned even once in Pro League. But
that's why I think it was probably outside of Pro League.
Hack.
Or maybe I was just fantasizing about what would happen to Jarvis if they did that.
Yeah, you do fantasize about Jarvis quite a bit.
I didn't want to bring that up. But either way.
Clash might be an operator that we get to see on here.
Definitely a possibility.
In support of her teammates on CEO, we can definitely see quite a bit of plays being here set up. But let's get into the game. Let's not keep you too much looking at us, I guess. But Bank, our third matchup of the day, Noble versus SK Gaming. Top of the board. Well, at this point, second up top, I guess.
Yeah.
See if SK can solidify a lead.
That's not uncommon at all to see the Hibana ban.
Yeah,
pretty,
means
pretty
the
common.
hatches are very difficult to take down.
This is one of the maps that you see that ban more than others. So definitely going to be the case here. Means Thermite going to need a lot more play.
Oh, Lion's available.
So that should really keep things interesting. Now that will be something that they can use to their advantage in that Jarvis, for example, is a very good vigil and roaming around and being very sneaky, especially on a map like this that does sometimes favor roamers. So having a Lion on board as well as a Dokkaebi could be something that helps shut that down a little bit.
Still, we've seen him in the past with just a Dock or a Rook just destroy on top of the stairs.
And there's a good chance we'll see at least one person running the Dock on CEO.
Some people that are watching, oh, there we go, the Clash being banned out at...
that means Mira as well.
Okay.
So they've left some operators that are normally, well, the two operators that are normally banned the most, not on there. Pojo not going to be able to run Clash.
Yeah, no content for you. But still, for a lot of people that are watching might be like, oh, why are they talking so much about SK Gaming? Because they're right up there. They're doing so much good work in Pro League this entire season that you can't not mention a lot of the strengths that they have, because it has taken them up so far up. Now, Jarvis going for the Lion.
Well, I guess if it's available, someone's got to take it, so not Capital this time. Either way, though, a Monty pick from Mint. Now, Mint does like to play Shield, so that does not surprise me. He's a very good Shield player, but it is always a risk to bring a Monty, because if you're not effective in what you're doing in terms of teamwork-wise, you may not be contributing nearly as much to the attack as you would like, and you end up kind of in a situation as your teammates dwindle down. It becomes a little tough. But they're also bringing a Maverick in addition to the Thermite, so that will help make up a little bit for the lack of Hibana.
And that's the thing. Even though you can't destroy the hatches that are in open area, you can at least burn parts of them, so you can use the Monty below and have a wall to look through.
Yeah, that Skylight hatch especially.
Yeah, and then just be able to open up the hatches from the top with your Maverick. All you need is just a bit of a hole to chuck in any grenades that you would like. Either Zofia will be there, or you'll see some flashbangs and such. ZC though moving on up, just take down the drone. It's an important part. We always talk about the drone economy, right? It's an important part of it. If you just are gonna walk in blind, it's not gonna be a help. But of course, with the Monty available for SK, they're gonna have a bit of an easier time.
I like that little cam there that he's just set up to help cover himself for a second, and then he's going to go ahead and switch to the drone that he already has in the building, potentially. So doing some good clearing to start with, but of course they can start to face check a lot here with Mint walking in on that shield. So they are doing a good job of taking some early control, but they're going to have to contest those server stairs that Nyx was just looking at some point here, because you do want to push those. They're going to have that Lion, though, of course, to shut things down. But it's nice to see that someone wants to play Maverick, as we just have not seen a ton of play on it. Although I imagine he did also want to play that Clash, judging by their reaction to the ban. Or no, sorry, it was Pojo that I think wanted to play it. But either way, he's going to be on Thermite for this, which is not a surprise. Crazy picking up Heartbeat there. Unfortunately, it's the Heartbeat of a shield, and his pre-fire not going to benefit anyone. But hey, Alicia Legion doing his job.
Yeah, a bit of ticks of damage, and that's what we're talking about. Hot and Cold can open up the hatch from above. Now, to destroy the hatch completely with the Breaching Torch, it takes quite a bit of your utility, your charge. But Yeti here moving up, getting spotted by the Lion, but will get tagged pretty darn low on health here with 50%. Mint should be able to just push right into him, but there's a goo mine to slow him down for just a bit. And as Nyx in the meantime just watching the angle. Now, having the shield makes it very complicated to move in, and of course, Mint can just not get over it, really. Yeti can go for the peaks. The instant the Monty just pulls the shield back, and this is the important part. Because there's a player in server, you might need to destroy the Skylight Hatch to be able to take him out efficiently, and that's exactly what's going to happen. There we go, forces him back.
Well, good play there. I mean, yeah, they did finish off Yeti, but they are getting map control out of it, so the way they're using the Monty is definitely paying off in terms of getting that control. Now they only need one more breaching charge there to use, of course, on the server wall.
The odd thing is Acid was playing still in Garage. There we go. He's going to rotate back in well, is that a double mirror window set?
It certainly is. Oh. They really want to see in there, and that is, of course, the left one open.
One of them's open. This is usually where you'll just see a completely soft wall. And Nyx comes in, gets the information, and I wonder what SK are thinking here. At least the impacts from the Zofia can't make things more complicated for the defense of Noble, as 25 seconds on the clock, and Mint's taking a decent chunk of damage, but that's what we're talking about. Stun nades will get tossed through the breach hole in the hatch. Stun in the defenders for just a second as Nyx is looking for info, but the smoke inside of the mirror window helped them out. That's one taken down. Hot and cold with a shot on the Maverick. And they're just blocking the doorway with Mint. He's just not going to move. Jarvis up the top. E1D not available, but it's breezy to get one shot with the shotgun. It's a fair distance to play here, but that's why you keep that hole open on the side and don't reinforce the wall, because then you get locked in by the Monty, and he's just going to stand behind it. You want to take the shots from the side? Good luck. At least take him out. Jarvis still watching the angle. He goes up for the 1v1, but it's crazy to win it out. 1v3 with little time left. And Breezy's just going to try to stick it here. He's got no health left. Nyx will get one, but the defenders of Noble take the round. The diffuser too close to the doorway. And the Monty on the floor watching as Noble were able to take this one out. Unfortunately, the plant position from SK not in their favor.
I appreciate the creativity and what they were trying to accomplish there, but that retake absolutely destroyed them. They just did not have enough setup. Outside of the Monty standing in a doorway, they didn't seem to have a ton that was going to do anything other than some potential flank positions. Just not enough gun battles being won by SK. So a lot of Noble just being able to juke around and get those kills. You'd think these little cage rats would have been, like shooting fish in a barrel, but instead they definitely seem to be able to win enough because they knew pretty much where everyone was attacking from.
And the Monty was fairly low on health. I think the Maverick pushing a bit too aggressively into the back was a part of the mistake of what happened. He should have just, stayed by the elevators and held down the hallway, because that was really the big part of it. The Lion losing the fight in the open area is a fault, but of course it's not the biggest thing to happen, because there was no hatch that was completely...
Yeah, he'd already burned both E1Ds as well, so... Yeah, definitely not the greatest round for SK, but they are going to go with the same lineup here for their attack on CEO, which, I mean, they know it's going to be switch bomb sites, so they got to imagine it's probably CEO or Tellers, although a lot of teams are starting to try open area more, which, again, has had a very low success rate, but... people like it. Maybe it'll go the way of customs like we saw on Border earlier.
Kind of surprised that there's no Mira being played in here, just because, again, the hold on the hallway and a second Mira window looking into the janitor room.
Yeah.
Very, very tough to deal with.
I gotta imagine it's just this is the strat they wanted to play, and it didn't really matter who was or wasn't banned as long as it wasn't someone they needed for this strat, which, I mean, outside of Maestro, most of these operators are rarely banned or never banned.
The big question here is where will the Monty go? Probably up the stairs, just face checking. There we go. That's what he's going to do. That's why you see him being brought out. It's much easier to go up the stairs, not having to worry about at least one angle to get shot from, and you just watch the two. To avoid any potential C4 play or anything from below, you can just walk in the side by the windows. It's very difficult to get a shot on the Monty through there, but in that case, they won't have to worry about a Pulse or a Valkyrie.
Well, they are starting to get set up for a bit of crossfire here, at least, to try and put some pressure on the CEO office. C4 is going to come out. You can see the top of the barricades open as well for those impact nade tricks. But Breezy has taken a lot of damage in the meantime, and he's the smoke player, so they might want to think about resetting him potentially.
Yeah, it might get a bit
There we
complicated.
go.
There we go. They're going to reset him and smartly through the wall. Well, I can't tell you how
Safety
many.
first.
And just with a pistol. Don't
Yeah.
shoot with anything else. The 9mm is just perfect for this. It's happened way too many times. But Breezy will be on 50% health. Hot and cold, baiting out the C4. As the Monty's already taken control, and this is what we're talking about. He can just walk on in, and control from SK Gaming definitely in their hands as they get some shots through. ZZ tagged a bit with the 9mm pistol. See,
Wow.
they'll still get the kill on Hot and Cold. The Maverick taken down by the window. Smoke being alive still. Not for long. Breezy will get the kill, but ZZ refragging. Jarvis being taken down. The Lion out of play for using the E1D. And Minch is checking in the exec lounge and the conference room. Spots one playing inside of the stock room, but still the hallway that they're not able to control. And that's the thing. Noble have the manpower advantage, and they can play for the long game rotations. Pojaman, though, taking down Yeti. The refrag as well. Nix to get one more on Crazy. 3v2 advantage for SK, and they have the shield. Mint face checking and getting the win. ZZ Nitro Cell's already been used as he comes in, gets the shot on Nix. Mint just standing in front of Pojoman, getting the final shot on ZZ and SK to tie it up 1-1.
Well, they definitely played to the Monty's strength that time as well. They took control of the entire CEO area very quickly, very early into the round, forced a retake from Noble, and unlike in the basement, retake just did not work out in their favor, but they are going to try CEO one more time. Might be a better execute this time. Their defense wasn't terrible, but they just, again, struggling to take care of Mint early on. It is really backfiring on them here. They need to pull out something better to take care of him, or he's just going to, again, walk right on in. I got to imagine he's probably going to do something similar, as you pointed out, because, it works so well in terms of giving yourself some control and visibility, and the rest of your team just works around that.
I mean, we definitely have been applauding SK Gaming's strategy play throughout the season, being able to adapt to whatever really could be thrown against them. And here they have Hot and Cold on the Ash, which is the interesting part because it's not really something you're expecting, but you kind of want to have them as well if you want to push through the hallway. They realized that was a weak part of their attack as they all pushed towards the left-hand side. The right-hand side was left open for the Mutant.
Yep, definitely. Here. So we'll see if Hot's change will help on the fragging, but they didn't seem to need too much help. It was surprising to see the early man advantage for Noble, not working out, and I thought they were going to be able to collapse a bit better on them, but they just seemed to kind of center themselves once they'd gotten at least that one kill, and then from there just worked outwards, got kill after kill. Noble, though, going to be able to adjust to that to an extent. They're going to be bringing basically, for the most part, 4 of the same 5 operators. So Noble should be a little bit better prepared for this. We'll see. So Yeti actually, it's always risky to see someone playing in the elevator. It's a great surprise, but you end up trapped.
Yeah.
Upside
You
for
always
them.
check the elevator.
Yeah.
Right?
Upside for him, though, of course, is that Capitao is not being played because that is one situation that sucks to be in when you get a fire arrow on it and you. When you're in the elevator, you just pretty much get barbecued at that point.
All right, Nick's just droning in the tellers, and Archive's not going to find anybody here. And so far, SK have been very safe from attacks from below.
Yeah, it hasn't been a big deal. It's mostly just been about playing on that particular floor. Nice long angle, though, being played. I like this here. It's going through 2 or 3 windows, rather, total.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a camera, bulletproof camera there. Or just a sign that's on the outside.
It's a sign that
No,
says
it's just a
bulletproof
sign.
camera.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. There's the Maestro Evil Eye that is set up on the side of it so they can look all the way down if need be. Mint has moved up, but he's on his own, actually, which is pretty odd.
Oh, Breezy could flick. Nope, he finds him first.
Oh, Mint lands the shot and uses the castle barricades to his advantage here. Not being able to get shot from the side. The Maestro spraying into Mint. And you mentioned the Capitao, but Mint can definitely use up the Monty here to move. He'll freeze the Valkyrie in position as he'll get shot here. The C4 will get taken down. A bit of an awkward engagement as Mint will have to fall back. Pojoman with the frag on to ZZ as Mint will still have to deal with the Valkyrie. Nick's trying to help him out from below as the hatch has already been opened. They're trying to bait him down, but the Valkyrie is just not going to move, even though there's no C4 left. lifelined in as Mint will have to deal with 2 angles, and the Maestro playing all the way from the janitor room. And Nick's still rotating in, but it's Acid to find him as he turns around a bit too quickly here. Mint moves in with the hip fire, but it's Valkyrie Yeti to win out the engagement in the 1v1 against the shield. In the meantime, though, it's Acid on the floor. 3v2 technically here. There's no C4 to be used by Noble. Hot and Cold moving in as Pojaman will get the finisher on Acid. Still hold up the top stairs. Yeti moves in, gets shot down. He's watching the diffuser as Pojaman to take him out. And Crazy last alive in the back of CEO. It's Hot and Cold to clean him up on the Ash. SK Gaming take the lead 2-1.
Well, kudos to Yeti. Not only did he stay in the elevator for quite a long time, burned up so much time, and even won the fight in the end.
People talk about aces and getting his shots through the wall. Look at that.
That's nuts. Well, unfortunately for Noble, that was another round down, so that seems to be a struggle for them. CEO, not quite their strength as it was in lockers, but they're going to change things up and go down to open area, which I think made pretty clear I'm skeptical about at this point.
Yes.
But either way, it would be interesting to see if they can pull it off. Mint at least going to tease, if not stick to the Monty again. Something that I'd say has been a bit of a problem. But either way, though, Yeti being able to play against Mint that way, that was fantastic. I mean, it helped by having a bit of crossfire as well from his teammates, but fantastic way to play that. And just the dancing around he was doing, dancing against the pistol fire from Mint. Much better than what ZZ's fate was in terms of that pistol.
I mean, the angles that were pre-opened by the Maestro definitely did help in that position.
Yeah.
There's 2 angles, one watching the Monty and one watching the top of the stairs. And
yeah, they managed to get Nick there as well. So
they took their time when it comes to clearing out the Valkyrie, but at the end, it works out in their favor. Again, you mentioned that open area is a very difficult thing to play. Now, an interview with Team Secret, Leon was explaining to me that a big part of defending this top floor is to, or defending the open area, is to hold on to the top floor as long as possible. Probably from outside and then collapse back onto it as the defense. Because when you play on it, you're cornered. And having a Zofia and a Monty to play against, that's definitely not an easy thing to do.
Not to mention the Lion to really stop any kind of rotations up or back for potential retake situations. If there's an E1D left at that point, of course. But I appreciate Min's confidence here. And just, I'm a shield, I'm going to do what I want. Seems to be the case here for Min.
All right, he'll walk right into the main lobby. At least, no, he's just going to fall back. All right.
I guess he's going to rotate. Oh no, he needs diffuser first.
So they're going to use him as the planter for open area, but he's going to have to walk in and face check. At least to have Pojaman setting up by the windows. Hot and Cold checking in as, there we go. He'll find the Jaeger downstairs, and that's why now he understands that skylight hatch has been opened. Mute rotating in between the cameras to find some information on where the attackers are coming from. Hot and Cold should have the beat on Yeti's position. There you go. Finally they'll get the spot.
Unfortunately for them, that of course means Yeti is going to move off now that he knows. Had they not given away that with the drone that they had that information, this might have worked out a little bit better for Cotton.
At least the mute just falls back.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to engage this one, just wasting time as much as possible.
Well, either way, though, that was an area he doesn't necessarily need to control. It's more the top floor that matters, but top floor control has been given up. So you just mentioned how important that was. They lost it, and they're opening hatches now.
I'll correct myself. That was definitely the mute, not the Jaeger. There was no Jaeger in this round, which is very odd. But number 2, soft hatch. But still, you kind of need it. You're not gonna run the Ash all the way up to deal with that just to save the thermite charge, but I guess now they're not going to be able to use the charge on the sidewall from Skylight into the kitchen. So they're just going to walk on in from the hallway.
Well, definitely a lot of movement happening for the attackers, but not a lot of gunfights. Down to 55 seconds, and they have yet to find an engagement, but Hot and Cold getting very close to finding Yeti. His arm, unfortunately, gives him away.
There you go. Yeti will get cut down and shanked by Hot and Cold. Mitt, in the meantime, starting to burn off those smokes. So right now, timing-wise, SK are in a pretty darn good spot. They forced the very first canister at the 50-second mark, so they'll have around 20 seconds to move in without having to worry about canisters.
I like what Yeti was trying to do. He was holding the C4 on that hatch that you see right there in the center to be able to potentially take out Mint. There's still smoke canisters doing some work, though.
Oh, if Pojo Man watching the angle, he'll get the shot from above. And Mint just getting down by the C4, connecting in here. Hot and Cold going in for the res with 12 seconds left. Not sure about that decision as Acid will take Nyx out. ZZ with another one on a Mint. Diffuser's not been set, but the Valkyrie will go down. Has to take down his goo mine out of his foot. Jarvis with one on Acid. There's still one alive and no time to get the Diffuser down. Again, time management.
It was interesting, though, that you rarely see an open area played bottom up from the defenders rather than top down. I mean, there might have been some people up top, but they fell off fairly early, and we saw a lot of attempt to try and control below because they read into that C4 play, potentially. It was interesting overall. You rarely see a Monty play, of course, on that site. So that was probably one of the strangest ways I've seen to play that, but also one of the few successful ones. I mean, some of that was due to, of course, that Mint just could not really get through that barrage of smoke. And the
Monty just did too much damage when trying to bait out the equipment. The C4 just got thrown there at the end. They had the time to wait out the smoke to have an easier run through. But their smokes that were thrown by the Monty kind of stacked up instead of spreading out in positions where you couldn't spot them. They were relying on Pojo to hold up from trading office upstairs and watch down where the smoke position was. By the printer. So it was a solid plan. Unfortunately, the execution there didn't work out. The goo mines definitely slowed things down.
Yeah, definitely. And well played. I mean, yeah, you saw, for example, Hutton struggle with those as well. He did manage to pick up Mint, but that was, too little too late at that point. Didn't last very long. They are going to go back down to lockers, though, so I imagine we're going to see a similar defensive setup here for the most part. But they are probably going to go with at least the double window situation, which was a good part of their defense that seemed to help quite a bit. They're going to have some people playing upstairs, it looks like. ZZ playing aggressively again up here, looking for that drone to take out.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Might be able to catch it, but no, he's just going to back off. Yeti playing a familiar way to play this with an Ella and deployable shield.
And
pretty
there we
standard.
go, the double mirror again. Okay. I question the decision. It was a bit of a problem when they played it the last time. Because you kind of would like to have a bit of a wall to walk through just in case you need to go for a retake. That's why you don't see both walls being reinforced on that side. But, I mean, if it worked once, maybe it'll work again. I'm still very skeptical.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand, like, leaving yourself less options to rotate, definitely not great, but there is the rest of the map to rotate through potentially. So there are different ways to get around to that depending on what the attackers open up as well. But it is a bit risky with the way that Monty is being played. I mean, I gotta imagine they're thinking they could take out Monty a bit better this time with the smokes and C4s, not end up in the same situation. But it's pretty much the same attacker lineup consistently here now from SK, outside of the one change-up last round on Houghton that he's stuck with this round.
Crazy, again on the cardiac sensor pulse. Get the information on Min, so they know the shield's coming in. Hot and Cold taking down the wire that was set up by the bottom stairs. Pojo Man destroying the very first hatch here in admin office. Still has a second exothermic charge, of course, to use. I'll be using it on the wall. Now, this is a strategy that we see employed quite a bit. The Ella played up close to the server stairs and just having a shield in front of her. Yeti trying to play against him, but there's no mortgage multi mines available here against the Monty, and that's why you put the shield so far up, because it's so difficult, especially for a Monty to vault over it and take control of it. The hatch opened up a bit too late here to catch the Ella, as Yeti might just sacrifice himself, and there you go. Nyx holding it on. That's why when you see that hatch is being opened, just run away, run back to the site, and prepare yourself, because you've already wasted a decent chunk of time.
Yeah, definitely a case where Nyx was just absolutely on top of that. I mean, nice try by Yeti, but unfortunately that cost him his life and didn't burn up a ton of time. But speaking of time, 50 seconds left, though. They are starting to have to get close to this plant here, and they have used both their exothermic charges, so they're not going to be able to open up the wall. They're just going to take advantage of Mint once again, who's trying to bait out some utility potentially, but they're not falling for it.
All right. Yeah, that's indeed what's going on here. They're just, the fact that they have the pulse, just give them information about everything that's going on. And will that be a free frag? Yes, it will. And that's now Breezy taken down, so they don't have to worry about the smoke. They will, however, have to worry about the 2C4s, as Mint will just walk on in. Not really worry about the angles, but there's not much time left. They'll have to contest hot and cold with one. Namira gets spotted, goes in for the 1v1, and it's Acid to win it. Still has no Nitro Cell available. It's all up to Crazy, and he's going to use it to open up the side. It does connect on Pojo Man, but a fuse has already been set. Jarvis with 1 kill, all up to Crazy, using his Mira window here to get information, and that's why you open up the majority of that wall. We talked about the retake potential, and reinforcing both sides does not help, even in chucking C4s against your opponents. I have to question that decision as an avid Mira fanatic here, but SK Gaming will take the round 3-2 advantage on the attacking side. Noble having played the bottom floor twice, which with Mira is a very effective site to play on as the defense. I have to say SK Gaming very much in the lead, but we'll see how Noble play against SK's defense.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see the way that that was played a second time, because it worked out somewhat similar in that they were able to use the Monty to help get the plant down inside the room. And that was the big factor, right? Had the plant not got down, I think that would have been fairly easily a Noble round, especially with Acid winning his fight against Mint in the red hallway, because I mean, Mint had the advantage there. He just not able to land enough shots fast enough to take Acid down. So, I mean, the fire rate of that Vector, though, this is not a huge surprise. Just had to pretty much spray near where his face was. But either way, yeah, they got that plant down, and that's all that matters. Jarvis is going to be playing that Vigil that I was talking about earlier. Is going to be something they're really going to have to be concerned about. And they're not actually going to bring in Lion because they've got their strap. They want to stick to it. So, again, just depending on how the bomb sites are, they're not really changing up to take advantage of Lion or Mira being unbanned on many of the sites. But either way, they are going to bring the Jackal, which is going to be the one thing that helps them here against Jarvis.
Yeah.
And ZZ actually taking up Jarvis's role, which probably would be the Capitao.
I mean, you mentioned it in the analysis just now that, you know, Jarvis has had a decent chunk of success on the Vigil on Bank. I wonder how they're going to play him, either solo or with somebody else. They have the rotation holes that are set up for him as well. So there's a lot being built around Jarvis playing the Vigil effectively. And even the rotation hole in admin office by Open Airs, it could just move down to the site, but that might come back to bite them later on, even though there's only two heart breachers available, but
yeah,
effectively the Thermite.
Jarvis tends to be one of those roamers that doesn't overly push aggressively. He's more concerned with staying alive a lot of times till late round. So there's a lot of times late in the round he will still be alive, won't have done any kills, won't have burned up too much time, but he will come for the flank that you don't expect, and all of a sudden what you thought was a great execute starts to fall apart. I imagine we'll probably see something similar from him here. They do have Black Eyes to be able to provide some additional intel for him, but he, again, is going to have to avoid getting Jackal tracks, so he's going to have to think about his footprints, as Breezy could find a few of those if he moves around too much in areas where they get map control, which he will probably concede. Nyx, though, actually playing the aggressive roamer here in Archives. This could go down either way, depending on who managed to get the drop on who, because you see both of them pretty much have the idea this is about to go down.
It's odd to see the castle when it's this sort of defense, and Pojo Man on the smoke playing close up on the site. This setup is very odd, but there's rotation holes everywhere.
Yeah.
For players to rotate back on the site. So they're trying to do some damage, burn time as much as possible before rotating down. It's a very ballsy move. Might come back to really bite them.
Well, important thing is they're all still alive at this point. But yeah, as you mentioned, some of these defensive setups that are either opening too much or closing too much can be used to take advantage of.
Now look at where the smoke is. He's still in the same position as, of course, the hatch has been opened. They have the Ella in the back to help against it, but the gas nade will make things a bit more complicated for the attackers to move in. The Mint coming in, possibly replacing smoke in this position, though. They're just going to put more players in here. The grenade's going to get lobbed in as the last gas canister is been popped. And there, the Ella almost being burned alive here with the Capitao, who uses both of his bolts on the stair. Nyx, in the meantime, coming in from the back of Archives, gets 2 kills for his own as he rotates in. The skylight held by him, but Yeti just drops in behind Mint and Pojo Man and gets 2 kills of his own. It's a frag fest here on Bank. Yeti still trying to hold off any potential rotations from SK Gaming. You're never sure if you're in the clear or not.
Yeah, especially when Nyx and Jarvis are both playing such aggressive roams, but they pretty much have control of the room, smoking it off. C4, though, they did not bait out earlier. Fortunately, works against them.
Breezy will get taken down. Hot and Cold, perfectly timed. Hot and Cold also did get the spot on the side as Nyx get one on Yeti. 2v1 as Crazy's all on his own. He spotted the Eagle. The Deagle might come up there, but it's already Nyx in the hallway to get the last one. SK, 4-2 advantage on a completely different style of defending the bottom floor. Not even needing the Mira. She's not even banned, and you're not running a Mira on the basement.
It was a very strange play in multiple ways. First off, you had very flexible roams going on, playing, again, like I was talking about, for flanks rather than early aggro. Something that I think SK takes advantage of. And then, on top of that, the smoke playing the server stairs was one of the more interesting things we've seen in a while. Because generally, intuitively, you're going to use the smoke to stop the plant. But instead, rather than try and play with a contest like we see a lot of teams just mostly burning up time and eventually losing on server stairs, he was playing it in a way that it was actually much harder for him to lose without just perfect timing coming out from Noble.
Or somebody dropping from Skyline Edge, killing.
Well, that was inevitable, and that was only because his backup rotated in.
Yeah.
Because once both of them were clear of the server stairs, yeah, he was able to take advantage of that, and well played by Yeti. Good timing. Was kind of waiting for that to happen. At some point, it's like, you guys know the hatch is open, right? So either way, though, it was creative from both teams. I found it very interesting of a defense. Now we're going to see the first tellers, though, as we have yet to see this site, because we've seen CEO a few times in open area. So far, though, I mean, I don't think Noble are quite out of the running on this just yet. I think they've gotten very close in these rounds. But close is not enough, as Obey have learned today.
And throughout the whole season, I guess. But SK Gaming here for the setup. You already see the smoke setting up his murder holes so his teammates can use those, shoot down anybody moving in. So just still need some hold. Top stairs, CEO. And Crazy in the meantime just going all the way up to the roof, trying to catch somebody off guard. Noble still running the Jackal and the Capitao combo. Capitao would be great here to burn out a smoker. Anybody that's sitting in a confined position, as I mentioned it quite a few times, Tellers and Archives are pretty small positions, and with few rotation capabilities, the Capitao with his bolts is very effective.
Definitely, especially when there's the one way to rotate between the two sites. If you don't open up some of the soft wall to be able to rotate there, that one doorway can be quite a choke point. They are going for some potential angles here. I mean, Jackal isn't normally who I would expect to be hanging on the window, but his gun does have very low recoil, and that can benefit trying to fire at long ranges, where you might have to tap a few times. So we'll see if that leads to anything, but unfortunately for him, he's not going to really be able to see footprints at that range. I like that angle, though, by Hot and Cold. We were talking earlier about how we're likely to see a dock. More often than not, it's usually for CEO, but no surprise to see that Hotten's going to play it here for Tellers instead. That is an interesting long angle to be holding, though, guarding those stairs. However, they are taking control of CEO very quickly. C4, unfortunately, missing the mark for the defenders means that control is just a bit more cemented.
Thermite upstairs. Of course, Yeti on the buck. Perfect operator for this position, just moving in, destroying as much of the floorboards as possible. Have a clear look inside, as there's nobody really in and around the site, as Noble seemed to discover. Just gonna watch the doors in the meantime. It's the kill. Crazy. Now the Zofia take down Pojo Man, and the refrag is, well, the second frag actually. Mint being taken down off a rotation from open area. Crazy just watching the hatch that was pretty open by the defenders. No, that was left soft. C4 did not connect before from the mute. As you saw, Hot and Cold moving up the stairs as Valkyrie's all the way down. Crazy will get shot down as now Hot and Cold has the castle barricade to protection. Now they all move right into the site. Acid taking so much damage as the spray in. Nyx will deny the diffuser plant with 30 seconds on the clock. Hot and Cold taken down. Jarvis, another frag here on Yeti. 2v2. There's no C4 available. Jarvis coming in, trying to find the angle. The usual plant spots. DZ taking so much damage, and the finisher from Nyx. 2v1. Advantage now still in the way of SK Gaming as Nyx on the mute grabs the last kill on Breezy. In every single position there, Noble had the advantage. And unfortunately, even with the 2-kill position that they had, a huge, huge boon, it was not enough to take down SK Gaming on this defense. To just
Yeah.
pre-fire the positions that they knew.
And it wasn't just pre-fire as well. You saw the pings coming out, the intel. So there's only so many ways to enter that room, so many ways to play it. Because of that, the smoke was only covering you to a small extent. It was absolutely the case where, in a way, Noble were actually trapping themselves in SK's gunfire. Became very easy, and you saw Nyx get pings for both times they tried to pressure him, so he didn't have to peek. Absolutely well played by SK on that.
There's probably a Valkyrie camera somewhere around the entrance to Tellers that was not spotted and gave all the info to SK Gaming. They just, as you mentioned, caught the pings and sprayed through the soft walls and got kills off of them. And that's all they required. SK Gaming on the cusp of victory, 5-2. They only need one more, and they go for open area.
This is the time to go to open area, right? Try it when you still have a little bit of a lead. But we did see it successful for Noble, so entirely possible for SK to potentially hold it out as well. Jarvis going to be bringing that Vigil again. Should be interesting to see how that plays out. But this is going to be interesting to see if this time we see anything even remotely similar to what we saw before. Because before it was, like I said, a lot of weird contests downstairs more so than upstairs. And then, of course, the final battle on the middle floor. Now, Noble are not going to be bringing a shield of like Monty or Blitz or anything into this here, so I'm sorry, yeah. So it probably will be a little bit different of an attack, I imagine. You're not going to be pressuring everyone through a single doorway that gets smoked and C4'd.
And that's why you bring the Capitão. We mentioned it before. We saw it in the previous round. You can just chuck in equipment wherever you want. Unfortunately, when SK Gaming were attacking this, they were running the Monty, so they couldn't really afford to use a sort of directed smoke play, and their smokes ended up overlapping a bit and not really helping them in the push-in. But Crazy moving in now, he does not take down the castle barricade early on because he doesn't want to get shot directly.
I mean, usually if you have somebody use those to your advantage and feel a little more secure, you usually do at first, then only open it when you feel like you need to.
Classic sentence here. They work both ways.
Oh. Indeed. A little bit of a slow map control, but they are starting to get some here from Noble. However, with the way that these roamers play, that map control could easily betray them on a map like this if they cannot secure it. They are going to finally play some Lion, though, here. Breezy going to be picking that up, so they are going to have something to stop that potential attempt at a flank. But the way that the flanks are being played very quickly from SK once they have the intel, is going to believe it's all going to be about timing from Breezy to make sure that that doesn't happen, and good flank watch. But they are starting to get some top-down control here, opening up some nice lines of sight with Buck.
That's a good spot as well. They can just go in for the grenade chuck up top, or just at least get information on who's potentially playing close up to the reinforced wall, if Acid would like to open it, but he won't, as both exothermic charges have been used on the hatches. Jarvis sitting up below and watching in as he can't get spotted, but Yeti just comes in and takes him out. Of course, the Mute not bringing the C4 here.
Yeah, Yeti took barely any damage yet. And why is there a Mute with no C4? Unusual, but a nice trade back on Yeti from Nyx. Nicely done. He took no damage as well.
The castle barricade there is still up, so the Valkyrie can just sit tight and wait. And yeah, sure, it's a soft wall that's been already shot, but you put yourself in a bit of a difficult position, though. They do have ZZ. They can burn out the Valkyrie if need be. And there you go. Breezy's going to try to use it. The Valkyrie's still alive. Not for long. It's Breezy to take him out from trading.
Good pinch there, pushing him out right into exposed position.
And the Zofia has rotated in, taken down the castle barricade. So either way, that Valkyrie would not have survived for long. Pojoman coming in, peeks into the stockroom. Doesn't find anybody. Smoke, and the headshot lands on Acid. He goes in for the cross. Diffuser's on the floor, but it's Noble with 2 kills very quickly. Hot and Cold on the rotation back as he's getting pings everywhere here. Spotted on the side as he takes down the Capitão, but he's half health. He knows the Capitão is on the floor. Takes down one of those. Trolltier moves in, gets the finisher on the Capitão, sprays through the wall, does a bit of damage. But Crazy's still alive on the Zofia. He's getting pinged all the time. Unfortunately, not fast enough. Hot and Cold sprays in most of the magazine's contents. You see the Zofia has already rotated back up. They can play from trading if need be, and that's exactly what Noble will do. Hot and Cold in a bit of a precarious position here as it's been opened up right above him. Peeks in, trying to find the angle on Zofia's head, but there seems to be so little time for him to play. Recoil can't can't just really get the angle on him. The Zofia's down on the floor. Hot and Cold turns around for the second. There's no time left for this run. Unfortunately for SK, the open area defense does not work in their favor. Noble timing things perfectly here for the attack. And even though we saw the great pick from Pojaman on the smoke, it was not enough to stop the round for Noble, and at least Noble survived for a bit. 5-3. The only way for Noble to get anything out of this game is to tie it 5-5, and at least there will give them some point to go above Obey line.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's still a tough situation to be in. 1 point is definitely not going to dig you out of that ditch. So they are, yeah, definitely looking like they need to make up the next 2 matches after this, regardless of the outcome of this one now. Tough spot for Noble to be in, but at least they're putting up a good effort here. Now, they can go back to lockers, so they will go back to lockers. They don't have to play in unfavorable bomb site. They're actually going to tease a Maestro to a castle. Maybe the castle just wanting to be hidden so they don't bring extra soft breachers, but they don't really need to. They're bringing the 2 that they need.
Need to locate and
I don't think they would switch up anyway, so SK just trying to hide a little bit they can, but look at that. Nyx and Hot and Cold fragging out there. Just Nyx already double of any of the players on Noble. As I mentioned earlier, he's definitely someone that was a good pick to join this team.
Yeah, and we were all very curious how he would perform entering in, but ever since day 1 on the squad, he has been on point.
Yeah. Well, the way things are going, you're going to be talking to him in just a few minutes here.
10 seconds remaining.
If
Very
Noble
close.
can bring it back here.
They need one more round to bring it home, and SK Gaming will solidify their position on top of the scoreboard here for North America. They'll get closer and closer to the Rio Finals, as right now there's only one team that is guaranteed the spot, and that's G2 in Europe. Otherwise, we're still not done. Of course, APAC Clan is this weekend, so we'll get to see who qualifies from the APAC region in Tokyo.
I think we have some ideas who that might be, just based off of history. Probably some people we've seen before. But
I
either
don't
way,
know who you're talking about.
yeah, it's just guesswork. But we are going to see ZZ bringing that Capitao yet again. Same attacker lineup. These guys have been, both teams have been fairly consistent about lineups. Other than changing up who's playing the Valkyrie on this bomb site. So now Hotten's on Valkyrie, whereas Nyx is on Castle. I don't recall if that was the choice before, but we've seen now at least 3 people play Valkyrie. We've had Jarvis, Nyx, and Hot and Cold play it. So it's interesting to see that depending on the bomb site, they have been pretty flexible switching that around. And I mention that because we've seen some great Valcam placement in terms of we've seen late round pings to help with clutches on multiple rounds now.
Yeah, they try to use the Lion here to time things with the Buck. Unfortunately, does not work too well, but Pojaman will still get shot down on the smoke. So you get aggressive, you kind of end up dying there. It's
Well, there's enough time to reset ZZ. They might want to consider it because he's pretty low health and his utility is very late game. So, might want to go for it. They aren't going to be bringing Amira, though. They're just hoping to face check it. Now, they don't have the smoke to do that with. Instead, they're just going to have to rely entirely on C4.
But look at the castle of Nyx. He's just moving in from the back. SK are never shy moving in, but there's a drone right behind him getting the information. The Lion pushing Nyx back as bullets going all through the walls. He still finds it, getting the shot on Breezy with Mint, and the second one on Yeti. There's still a vigil upstairs as next target mine will get thrown in. That's now the Lion and the Buck taken down. No more grenades to be used. The second E1D will remain out of play. Is easy not reset.
Definitely going to be a big problem later on with the man count disadvantage, but at least starting to get evened up.
Yeah, here the smoke mine from Crazy Zofia works out perfectly. And ZZ should get reset here. Jarvis looking for the kill. He's not been spotted. He moves it. They spot the side of the hand, but Jarvis is still alive. He peeks up, fires a couple rounds, and moves back. Tries to play the advantage. As the Zofia will get shot down. Jarvis rotating in to the towers instead of going down with the stairs. Hot and Cold used the C4 before and did not connect. The diffuser from Acid should get set in, but Jarvis gets the kill on him before he can set it down. ZZ has to come in, and the man goes down. Hot and Cold saving the day. Perfect timing from SK Gaming. Their roam defense, absolutely beautiful to watch. Everything so coordinated, and this will be SK Gaming to get a 6-3 victory. It's one more than you expected there, Devin.
What's funny is that's exactly what they've gotten every time they've won. 6-3, 6-3, 6-3 now. The only time they didn't was when they lost 4-6, but it is funny to see that they continue their pattern of giving up 3 rounds. But yeah, it is nice to see that Noble put up a fight.
Oh, yeah.
Despite what we were saying at the beginning of the match about how SK favored this was. Noble had a lot of potential on it, but SK just had a lot of fluidity and flexibility that I feel like worked out there. They were just not static at all. They were very, very fluid in terms of the castle playing, the Vigil being able to rotate around, the Valkyrie cams that were being able to help. So it's just unfortunate that flexibility worked against Noble, despite whatever strats they may have prepared, the good ideas they thought they had going into this. At the end of the day, SK goes home the winner, as they've tended to most of these playdays.
Yeah, between Nyx and Pojo, man, that's 25 frags.
Wow.
That's quite a few in only 9 rounds of play, but really the entire team has worked together in this one, and this is the part where we kind of applaud SK again for their brilliant use of strategy, and I have to say, I'm not always a fan of roam play on bank when you're defending, especially if it's on the basement, but the way everything was executed, perfect. Just using every single bit of information to their advantage, never over-peaking. I have to commend Jarvis again on that Vigil play. We played him up at the start, and he indeed lived up to the expectations. Just being able to maneuver around every single angle, knowing how to play against his opponents, and then catching them off guard at a move that they were not ready for.
Yeah, well, either way, though, it worked out for him, and congrats to SK.
All right, well, we have an interview up here. SK with Nyx. Good evening, Nyx. Congratulations.
How are you? Thank you.
It's a 6-3 win. You guys have been going through those quite a bit. You have a pretty solid lead up at the top of the board here for North America, but a few questions to go through on this map specifically. First of all, in the bans, were you surprised at all to see Bank going through the bans when SK is so well known for it?
No, going into this match and prepping for this match, we either thought it was going to be Border, which we put a lot of time into Border for, and then we thought it was going to be Bank. So we knew it was going to be one of the 2 maps, and it ended up just being Bank. So
it worked out well for you there. I have to applaud you for that flexible defense on the basement. Both times ended up working. Please, just walk me through that excellent bit of play, because this is a rare thing to see. Usually you'll see maybe 1 roamer or two playing around here and there.
Right.
But the Smoke and the Ella playing on the stairs together, the Vigil, how does that work?
So basically, we knew that Noble likes to take server side heavy. They never really put any presence towards back takes or anything like that. So because of it, we wanted to use our Smoke and our Ella to delay time. And Mint and Pojo, they played it really well. Our team, everyone played everything exactly how we practiced and executed perfectly. So it worked out really well for us. We wasted a lot of time, ended up getting a few picks. Me and Jarvis on the roam, they weren't really holding their flanks and allowed me and Jarvis to keep going back up there and keep getting picks, and they didn't really know how to stop it.
Yeah, it's very much the case. I mean, there's one specific round, though, when you guys were defending on towers. You lost players early on because, you had to face off against the Buck and the others that are playing on the top stairs. And then you somehow brought it back in a 4v2. There was a Valkyrie cam inside of the tellers that was pinging everyone, right?
Right. Yeah, with the vision on cams right there was really what won us that round. If we didn't have those cameras, I wouldn't have been able to wallbang the planner, and I wouldn't have been able to get the kills that I did. So, the cameras really helped us there.
Yeah, excellent bit of play, utilizing every single bit of utility available in the team. Again, it's SK and strategy. Name a better duo. But anything you'd like to add here? Thank you to the fans or something?
Just, thank you to everyone that supports us. We're getting back on track here to how we really should be playing, and we hope to just keep up, the games that we've, going on forward against Rogue and against EG that we have coming up. We hope to just keep performing well.
Yeah, we're very close to going to the Rio finals, and we'll see if the next couple of days solidify your position in Brazil. Thank you again, Nyx, and congratulations on your win.
Thank you.